Grand Risings, Grand Risings. I hope you guys are having an amazing morning. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace, and we're here 3 days a week in the morning. Usually we're cooking in the kitchen, but I'm out and about. If you don't know, we're coming for it around 4 or 5 on this Venezuela topic today. Today we're going to uh, dig right on in. While we were living our lives yesterday, between yesterday broadcast and today's broadcast, we have had official Pirate of the Caribbean start. Dun 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 dun. Let's give it a second for the notifications to go out. Shout out to everyone who will be tuning in today. I just want to say, guys, get in the chat. We just ask for people to be respectful. Understand that we're coming from all wakes of the world, different religions, different practices, different parties. Myself, I'm a separatist. I'm not a Democrat, Republic, or none above. I just separate myself from the BS, and I connect to God. Hopefully, we'll all make it through this. Okay, so let's get to it. Today, we're going to be talking about, woo, the escalation. All right, so some things that I want to clarify from yesterday. We're going to be clarifying some of the statements that Trump has made in regards to himself, um, and some of the claims of America, basically how we're doing. Here we go. Our notifications going out. Yeah. Yeah. So let's get this started because one person I want to highlight, because again, we have a countdown. I made a 7-day prophecy that Hegseth will be fired. Okay, he will be the fall guy for Trump. But until then, we're gonna watch this guy in action. Okay, so let's hear Hegseth what he has to say, and then we're also gonna look at um, a SNL skit that they did on him. All right, let's see what he has to say in him defending his airstrikes. Guys, I want to say thank you for being here. Please hit the like button. I hope my sound is good. Let me know. We're here for it. There we go. I don't know why everything's so low. Hold on, y'all.
Donald Trump is the true and rightful heir of Ronald Reagan. And the Trump administration
What?
facing accusations of possible war crimes after acknowledging a second strike on a suspected.
Wait, let's start that again because it was low. What did he say? Did he say Trump was the true heir of the Ronald Reagan presidency? You know how long? What do we got going on here? So he's trying to legitimize everyone else. Let's watch this guy. He's starting off wrong.
Center stage today at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in California. Donald Trump is the true and rightful heir of Ronald Reagan. And the Trump administration facing accusations of possible war crimes after acknowledging a second strike on a suspected drug-running boat that killed 2 survivors in the wreckage on September 2nd. If you're working for a designated terrorist organization and you bring drugs to this country in a boat, we will find you and we will see.
She said, "Who that alien?"
Pledged and waived.
Hold on. Don't start. You already starting in the comment. Look at 2 aliens, but let's go. Don't get me distracted. Y'all know how I am. Trump gonna come up there looking all orange and stuff. Let's listen to the content.
Bring support for Admiral Mitch Bradley, who he says directed the attack. From what I understood then and what I understand now, I fully support that strike. In this particular case, it was well within the authorities of Admiral Bradley, an incredible American or American hero. Admiral Bradley briefed and showed video of the second strike to lawmakers this week behind closed doors.
What I saw in that room was one of the most troubling things I've seen in my time in public service.
I didn't see anything disturbing about it.
International law says enemy combatants can only be killed if they pose an immediate threat.
If it is found that survivors were actually killed while clinging onto that boat, should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by
What?
the millions, actually.
Democrats are pressing for the full video to be released for the public to judge.
Under the laws and the Constitution, we cannot just strike people with our military. This is either violation of the law of war or it's murder.
The president tells me he's still in favor of releasing the full video. The White House says it is still working with the Pentagon on that.
So we do have that We do have a few of those clips. Let's get into this real quick, and I do apologize for the sound. I'm praying that it gets a little bit louder today. I am working on my mic issue. Maybe I need to go get the top part right there, and it won't sound so crazy. But let's get to this. I wanna watch this right here. We're gonna see SNL before we get to Trump and Hegseth and our government being pirates of the Caribbean. We kind of easing our way. This broadcast will be a little bit over an hour because we have a lot to share today. We're even going to get down into a little bit of the declaration that came from Russia. I got it. I got it. We really have to be prepared for this because one, I think that this is a distraction again, okay? Because tomorrow we will be talking about it. And let's not forget what we should be focused on, and that is the Epstein file. So tomorrow morning we will be talking about this. But again, I do think this is a distraction. Let's watch SNL mocks Hegseth before we get into the deep down facts of what's going on. I'm in. Wait.
You got questions for me? Fine. Pretend I'm a random fishing boat and fire away.
Look at Trump.
I stand by Pete, and nothing can change my mind. Unless, of course, it could hurt me in any way, in which case I'll throw him under one of Mamdani's free buses.
Thank you, because we already know that's exactly what's going to happen. So this was just a little breakdown of the SNL highlighting that Hegseth thinks that he is untouchable and that Trump has his back. And we know what's going to go on. We know as soon as it gets a little bit too hot and all the stuff start coming down on Hegseth for all these war crimes, and especially this, Trump is going to protect himself. But this right here, this is what blows me. Let's just watch this because he's so disrespectful. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say Trump is so disrespectful to who he chooses to be disrespectful to. Let's play this because we and other reporters have been trying to find out what's going on in Venezuela and why the are we blowing up fisher boats and all types of stuff with little motorboats with high level equipment. So as this news broadcaster asks, Mr. Trump want to go ahead and get disrespectful like he always do. Let's see, where your volume at?
President, you said you would have no problem with releasing the full video of that strike on September 2nd off the coast of Venezuela. Secretary Hegseth now says...
You said that. I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news.
You said that you would have no problem releasing the full bit. Okay, well, Secretary Hegseth...
Whatever Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
He now says it's under review. Are you ordering the secretary to release that full video?
Whatever he decides is okay with me.
Are you committing to releasing the full video?
Didn't I just tell you that?
You said that it was
You're
up
the
to
most
Secretary Hegseth.
obnoxious reporter in the whole place. Let me just tell you, you are an obnoxious, actually a terrible reporter, and it's always the same thing with you. I told you, whatever Pete Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
I'm going to put the clip down here at the bottom. I wish I could really see Trent's face in person. Yo. He looks terrible. You talking about an alien. This was a bad paint job. Every time I see that paint job, I feel some type of way. That's literally, I don't know what that is. But look how disrespectful he is to her because she's asking him questions. He don't want to answer certain people. Do y'all think that that's okay for our president to behave like that? Go on a rampage and attack people? Literally, their character? Yeah, Mega don't have any problem with that. That's what they've been doing at the bottom of my video and a lot of people's video. But that's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. So we're waiting, allegedly, for the full video. They said that they released it, but they didn't release anything. They released bits and parts of it. And maybe 10 years from now, we're going to have the full breakdown of what happened. This is what they usually do. And then we're going to see some horrific, crazy, vile things. Okay, now we're gonna be listening to a little bit of Maduro response, not to the boat yet, not to the boats being seized. We're working our way around. We're just kind of backtracking of what we talked about yesterday, bringing ourselves up to par. And also, I said I wanted to clarify some things because Trump is a big old fat Fonzo liar. Okay, before we get into Trump sees these boats, he's a big fat Fonzo liar. Okay, you remember yesterday where he said, "Oh, the drugs are being, it's 90% of drugs are down in importation in America." I'm going to get to y'all comments. I hope y'all behaving in the comment and y'all have some good stuff to say. You're not over there just attacking me, but if y'all are, it'd be okay. Hit the like button or dislike. We're here to talk about it, but just put some respect on each other's name. Now, this is just my simple Google search. It says illegal drugs primarily. Oh, this is the entry. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that, but let's talk about, wait, is it 90% down? Okay. There is no evidence that the total illegal pharmaceutical slash or legal imports of illegal drugs in the United States is decreased by 90%. Instead, recent data show that the U.S. remain highly dependent on imports, within 90% of its prescription drugs consuming the country's in sorry, in opposition of the country's manufacturer. So a lot of our pharmaceutical drugs come in from outside as well. Okay, so most of this fentanyl that he's talking about, it's coming in through our borders. It's not just coming in through where he's saying Venezuela is bringing it in. This is it. It says trends in drugs imports and seizure, pharmaceutical dependency. U.S. Pharmaceutical imports more than double in value over the last decade, reaching over 215 billion in 2024. That's just pharmaceutical. Y'all saw how I went over a tangent yesterday talking about how allegedly our pharmacists and our doctors are making people or guiding people to be addicted. Yes, because pharmacies plays a part too, because when prescriptions coming in too much and things like that, they know the timeline. They were supposed to stop prescriptions. So it's the doctors and the pharmacy that plays a part in this. But I can see declining illegal seizures has been the issue. There has been a significant drop in the amount of illegal drug seizures at the border. At the border, not in the ocean, at the border. Fentanyl seizures, which peaked in 2023, dropped to about 760 pounds by March in 2025. So this is what they're saying. The illegal search and seizure has dropped to only about 760 pounds average by March, because they used to be really stopping them at the border. But obviously no one's stopping it at the border. And I know Trump just got in. I'm going to give you guys that. We saw all of that happening under Biden, just flood of immigrants, flood of children coming in with men. But I'm going to shut up. And then allegedly, they're muling things in. They're muling. So we know that. But again, we're not paying attention to the border. I'm bringing this up because he's a daggone lie to say that our imports of drugs is 90% down at the border. That's a whole lie. Northern border illegal drug seizure at the north border has also trended down, with 35% decrease since 2021 and 8 decrease since 2023, 8%. So are we doing better at the border, or we're doing worse? You tell me what you think. Do we protect waters that's far as all hell and just shoot down ships, or do we protect our borders and then start to flush out not illegals only, but criminal illegals? It's criminal illegals first. Does that make sense? No. So let's get to your comment. Stephen, no, I'm not pro-Trump. I am a separatist. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I am for humanity. So if they be like, put America first, and I'll be like, put humanity first, because when bombs hit, we are moving wherever there's not bombs. I'm just being real. So I'm loyal to people, and I'm loyal to God. Okay, and who is this, Richard? You say you paid 273.9 per gallon. What is that? Please let me know. You said Mr. Skinner 34. It says, I'm ready to give up my phone, Mr. President, and the past 5 years of social network. But if you find what you're looking for, um, almost immediately. Now, guys, I want to look at y'all comments, but I want it to be, with what we're talking about because it kind of get me distracted. But I want to make sure y'all know that I'm here for y'all because some people like, you don't never just look at the comments because y'all be distracting me. So look, but I'm gonna give it to y'all. Thank y'all for being here. So let's get to this. So we already know he lied about the percentage of drugs that's coming in the import, and it says 90% of the drugs is coming in actually legally. 90% of the fentanyl drugs is coming in legally through pharmaceutical means. So what I was going off on a tangent on yesterday was actually correct. That's why I walked away from the bedside of nursing. Because sometimes we were just drugging them the hell up. And I said, this don't make no sense. I mean, one time I was at a hospital, I felt like I was on the block trapping. I said, yo, I left Newark, New Jersey and beat the hood and the gangs to be on this nurse's station, running to this patient room every 5 minutes, giving him oxycodone. And he already had a morphine pump. Baby, I was like, what do we got going on here? I'm literally trap nursing. So it starts with us, and they were mad at me. When I said, hey, he's a paraplegic. He can't feel his legs or his bottom. Why are we giving him all these drugs saying his legs is hurting? Oh, I was all types of bad nurses. They didn't say it. In their heart, they felt it. And then they knew I was telling the truth. I said, now, you know this man can't feel his legs. Y'all got all these drugs going into him now. If something happened, y'all better have a cold team up here because I'm not about to play with y'all. He has a high tolerance. We created it. So that's the proof behind the 90% of the fentanyl that's coming into the United States is through our pharmaceutical companies. Now, let's get to Pirate of the Caribbean. Because this keeps escalating every day. We do not have the right to strike these boats in international land. And we do not have right to seize oil tankers. That's what I said. This is about resources. This is about stealing their stuff. This is about crippling them, changing their regime. And we're going to also talk a little bit about Maduro, because I'm just trying to figure out what's going on over there, because we have some lady who is defying Maduro. It's a whole stuff going on, y'all, out there. And I think they're going to throw it in our face to make us kind of be like, oh my God, Maduro's so bad. I'm not sure, but we're going to talk about this lady who fled from Venezuela, despite there being a travel ban and things like that, guys. It's going down. But I just want you guys to kind of have a different perspective before the propagated news come in and just hit us up real hard. Okay, so let's listen to Trump seizing oil tankers.
Bring in our senior White House correspondent, Garrett Haake, who has made his way to the camera there on the North Lawn. Garrett, listen, the president is confirming a piece of reporting that originated from Bloomberg News maybe not an hour ago. And it made waves, obviously, because this is a significant...
No, you said, before we go, you said, so you're saying since the drugs are confiscated at the border, or less confiscated at the border, then we're doing a worse at the border. To me, that seems like a good thing. Less people are attempting it, being because of the strong border. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to put my glasses on. We don't have a strong border. That's a whole damn lie. You know that's a lie. You know why the numbers are down like that, the seizures? Because it's not happening. That is not the truth. You know, between 2021 and 2023, hundreds of thousands of people came in here. The statistics I gave you was from 2023 under Biden. So they stopped recording it probably effectively, and they wasn't stopping seizures. It should be going up since Trump now is ramping up Border Patrol and the use of it. So it should have been going up. It should have said, in my statistics, it should have said in the last 6 months since Trump been in the office, it has significantly going up, the seizures at the border, because that's where they're coming in. It's not like it's not coming in. Stop it. They're here. We're still getting it. And a lot of you got to understand when it comes into these shipping companies, who own the shipping companies, who are the people that's examining these boxes. They know what's going in. So you cannot flip it with the mind magic and say, well, it's because we're doing good. No, we're not doing good. It's no one at the border. There's nothing good happening right now. The Border Patrol is literally in the States beating our butt. No, not Border Patrol. Yeah, Border Patrol. Beating our butt. I have to give the National Guard more love than the Border Patrol because they're just stuck in a rock and a hard place. We should be using them to actually, as I stated yesterday, go to the border. National Guard should be building the wall up, bringing resources to the areas, making sure that if they are capturing people, that these people are held in good locations, locations that's not killing them, i.e. we're going to be talking about some of these facilities that they're holding migrants at. There's a few that disappeared from these facilities, and there's a few deaths that's going on that I have heads up about, and it's a little bit disgusting. So I can't let you gaslight me because the statistics is the statistics. There's a lot of drugs. There's a lot of overdosing going on, and that number of seizures should be going up right now since we had such a big influx between 2021 and 23 of migrants and illegals or whatever going on. So no, that's not going to work. He's not doing the right thing. You're like, well, he's stopping it at the sea. That's why he's not getting here. No, that's not going to work, sir. Let's go.
Escalation now in these tensions that we've been seeing in the Caribbean. The president is now confirming it from the White House. Help us understand sort of how we got here, because there have been a series of strikes in the Caribbean, including one that has put the defense secretary in hot water with Congress.
That's right, Hallie. I mean, look, there's been an effort here by this White House to engage in what is essentially an undeclared war against what the administration calls narco-terrorists in Venezuela. The president and his White House have argued that Venezuelan drug traffickers have become a unique and dangerous threat to the United States. They've carried out these strikes on what they say are drug boats going back to early September. This is another matter, a significant escalation here in what the president describes as a seizure of an oil tanker, a far more involved military operation, certainly, than striking a small boat with an aircraft, something that we believe involved the Coast Guard and the Department of Defense, the Navy specifically, basing that on comments from Secretary Kristi Noem, who this morning interrupted an event in which she was otherwise speaking to say that she was being briefed on this and that this was an operation that was being watched closely by officials across the government. The president, in an interview on Monday, suggested that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's days are numbered. The administration has been looking for other ways to ramp up pressure on Maduro. The president publicly has confirmed that he had authorized clandestine operations of some kind against Venezuela several weeks ago. And so there's been a number of different elements to this pressure campaign, essentially, against the government of Venezuela and against these drug cartels, which the White House says are linked together. Today's announcement of this action, which we know really very little beyond what the president has just said, really the most dramatic step so far.
Wow.
Thank you for watching. And remember,
Wait, y'all. So I got a little bit more information. And you asked me, am I for deportation? Heck yeah. For people who are illegally here and committing crimes, yes. But am I for, like, just deporting all migrants? No, because if we continue down this path, everyone in the United States will be deported, even our Caucasian people who think that they're just white. As I talked about this hurt people feeling, but white is not a color. You came from a nation. A lot of you guys came from German backgrounds after the World War, and they snuck a lot of you guys, family member, and let's keep that real, and other places. So once he start turning his back on whoever land and whoever he's mad at, everybody's going to be illegal. So do I support deportation of illegal migrants that are, have a high affinity for crime? Heck yeah, deport them. But do I think that America is an all Anglo-Saxon, Caucasian America, and this land is not built on migrants? Heck no, I'm not a fool, but that's real. But look, this is what I want to highlight too. If I didn't, illegal drugs primary entry into the United States is the official ports of entry, with approximately 90% of the fentanyl, 85% of the cocaine, and 85% of the meth seizures in 2025 occurred at these locations, at the port of entry. That's what I'm talking about. That's why we have to. Who owns these ports? There, go look this up. One of the biggest seizures that took place a couple of years ago of illegal drugs happened at a port that was owned by J.P. Morgan. You see what I'm saying? So we have to start there. It says once inside, drugs are moved, established through transportation corridors, interstate highways, and major markets like Chicago, New York, Houston, and further distributed through the streets through gangs. Okay. Now, it says, so these are the ways that they use exactly what we talked about, the official ports of entry, which we can have control over. They talk about maritime routes, and that's out there kind of talking about the Caribbean Sea. Approximately, it says 95% of the drugs, particularly cocoa, not fentanyl, but cocoa, moves via water using container ships, go fast boats, or self-propelling submerging boats that's kind of like submarines. Okay, and they call them submarines. Okay, so these boats that they're hitting, like I said, they may not even be the actual target. But again, they hit a boat from Guam, like a fisherman boat. Go look that up. So also another point of entry here is tunnels. Y'all remember where they kind of, what people not talk about that, but it's tunnels all over. But the most recent thing that came out about the tunnels was the Jewish people in New York. Then all of those tunnels was found under there, and they found strollers and all types of stuff. Don't forget about that. So that's where they're coming in and being distributed. And y'all remember too, through the Puffy thing, that they were saying there was tunnels leaving out of Puffy house through all the stars. And allegedly it's tunnels under Disney World. Tell me I'm lying. Go research it and be like, Grace, you lying. It ain't. So there's many routes that drugs is coming through. So for us to take this big old step to go the route through the Caribbean Sea, and that's what we talked about yesterday, $127 million, allegedly an hour to have a jet out there monitoring, that's our money. And then again, as I mentioned, the human carriers, the mules, the ones that was coming in floods through Biden administration. I know y'all love to hear that. Biden did it too, again. And they have been going after Venezuela throughout different administrations. And as Democrat, Republican, whatever, it's not just Trump. I'm just going to keep it real. So we have to pay attention to this because the Venezuela issue is a long drawn out issue. And now it's actually starting to bring more players into this issue because they pretty much sick and tired of it. Yesterday, they said, the news that I showed you, Russia said, look, this is not a Venezuela thing. This is basically a sovereign thing. Like for us to be sovereign as people, as a nation. So we're going to support you. So we're going to look a little bit more in that. So who's driving this right here? Trump allegedly, well, we saw him talking stuff. And then you have MS Now, because you know we show different broadcasting. We show all types of news. So this is MS Now basically saying Trump is clueless as U.S. drift towards war with Venezuela. Do you see my face? They're trying to start the plausible deniability. Hegseth, you're going to jail. Trump is, they're telling people off. They're also like, I don't know what's going on. I didn't know the second bomb hit them. I didn't know that. He already came out and separated himself from that second hit when they tried to hit the people who was captive. He separated himself. He said he didn't know nothing about that. So let's watch this real quick.
An oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela, accusing it of transporting sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran and escalating what is already a group of mounting tensions in the region. Now, to be honest, we don't exactly know what is going on here or what the end goal is at this point. But earlier tonight, Attorney General Pam Bondi claimed that the tanker was previously sanctioned by the U.S. for its involvement in an illicit oil shipping network supporting foreign terrorist organizations. So I should note, Bondi has not yet provided any evidence to back up those claims. And listen to what Trump himself said when a reporter asked him what happens to the oil now that the U.S. has seized this tanker.
What happens to the oil on this ship? Well, we keep it, I guess.
Oh my God.
Keep it, I guess.
So we just stealing people oil now. We just stealing people oil. Thank you for saying that, Peter. It's a grab for oil. And it's like, yo, we're not even gonna wait to try to get this land under control to kind of secretly do it. Nah, we stealing the boats as they coming out. This land money. This is Venezuela the way they make money. This is so the boat's illegal too, huh? The boat's got drugs in it. Um, let's watch this together.
I don't know. I mean, so what happens now? I mean, we were trying to figure that out. We're learning more. But thankfully, I have just the person to ask who's probably been thinking about this too. Back with me is my friend and colleague, Rachel Maddow. So I don't expect you to know exactly the answer to that. But you, as I noted before the break, I mean, you wrote a book a few years ago called Blowout, which of course covers how the oil and gas industry effectively corroded and corrupted democracy. It feels quite relevant to all of this. Given what we saw today, I mean, what went through your head when you saw this news about all the reasons for it, when you saw Trump's answer as to whether he would keep the oil? What was going on in Rachel Maddow's head?
Oh, Jen, I just feel like, I feel like if you stop somebody on the street, just like man on the street interview, like, why are we going to war with Venezuela? Anybody, like, if you ask 100 people, would a single one of those people have an answer that would be the same answer as anybody else?
They'd all be
that would match
different.
anything that the administration would say. They'd all be different. And so first it was, we're blowing up those drug boats off of Venezuela because of fentanyl. Fentanyl doesn't come from Venezuela.
See, that's why the lady had to correct herself yesterday. Remember, we heard her say Cuba no fentanyl. Because I mean, not no. I do apologize. She said Cuba no Venezuela. I said, which one is it, Cuba or Venezuela? Fentanyl is not even coming in high buttloads from that area, and I just read to you what's coming in through the sea is actually cocoa. You know, so.
Hey, no, we're not doing that anymore. No, we're just trying to stop drug trafficking. These are all, that's why we're doing, this is all about drug trafficking. It's drug trafficking boats. It's Maduro is involved in drug trafficking somehow. So that's okay. And then simultaneously, Trump pardons the president of Honduras, former president of Honduras, who is one of the most prolific drug traffickers ever convicted in this country. Now they're saying, it's violating Iran sanctions. Oh, okay. Violating Iran sanctions. That's why we're going to war with Venezuela. Well, Trump.
What the hell? What do we got to do with Iran? Yo, you heard what? I didn't even know he pardoned Honduras president. Yo, he about that life. Honduras they about that life. We talking about, if y'all want to get a flashback of the mob, go check out Honduras president. He pardoned him for what? And then, my mind went to the left. Let's just watch this. Something crazy going on.
Just pardoned the Binance guy. What did the Binance guy need to be pardoned for? $898 million worth of Iran sanctions violations, right? Plus funding Al-Qaeda and ISIS and Hamas and and Islamic Jihad. So like all of the things that they keep saying it is, clearly they're not. And so what is it? Apparently it's a regime change war so we can try to take their oil. Well, that'll work out great. That's always worked out great for us in the past. What's going on here? And who's driving this?
Somebody in the comments, Paul, talking about mega back in business. No. See, I told y'all it was a distraction because all of the bad talk is like as far as focusing on Trump and the pedo thing and the 13-year-old girl that he basically Britney Spears her. That lady is Britney Spears. It's all a distraction. He's like, yeah, Mega's back. Black Mega. Baby. Wait, we ain't here for this ride. Go ahead and play yourself. No. We're just trying to be on point to what's going on because we're not beat. We know what's going on. This guy is not only trying to fake establish himself as a peace monger, if that was a word, because he's actually a warmonger. Because he's a whole just piece of crap. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just disgusted. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. Y'all should understand the disdain that I have for the Clintons. But Trump outweighs that 100%. And the Clintons stole kids from Haiti. So that's why I don't like that. I ain't going to say hate them. Hate is a bad word. But I'm just going to let you know, no, it's no mega here. We're not stupid. We're not brainwashed, and we're not distracted. We're just on task, baby. Black Mega, I feel bad for you because they be flipping on y'all, call y'all nigglets, and use y'all for y'all votes, baby. If you didn't know that you were still on the plantation, wake the hell up. Let's go.
Trump doesn't seem to have any idea what's going on here or why.
No, which is an evergreen statement about Trump and national security in general. It seems. I keep thinking, and again, it's important that we don't totally know what's going on here, but about his obsession over the course of time with taking oil from other countries, which he has talked about for so many years. And I am betting his oil-bearing friends are in his mind. But we will learn more over the coming days. I mean, this is all kind of to your point. I mean, these extrajudicial strikes, the seizure of this oil tanker, it's so many things going on that feels over the legal line and feels like it's setting incredibly dangerous precedents.
Thank you.
As you look at the totality of it, I mean, what concerns you most about what you're seeing and really where this goes? Because this is a very slippery slope. I think they feel justified to seize more oil tankers. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's stop right here. Someone said Trump has stopped 8 wars. Like, we're going to talk about Ukraine and Russia later on. You know that a matter of fact, I'm not limited to say Ukraine and Russia because they're still going through it. Let's talk about Israel and Gaza and the Palestinians. Didn't he broker that deal? Guess what? It was just a family the other day of 5 that just got killed from airstrikes, and they were literally in the zone, the safe zone that Israel told the Palestinians to go to for safety, and they blew it up less than 5 days ago. Amazing peace treaty. Oh yeah, I have a video about some of the peace treaties that he said he's done. I'll put that link at the bottom. They're all not working out. They're all not. I please, Mega, follow up. Here, I'm glad that you're here because we show all types of news here. We don't show just CNN, Fox. Even Fox is. I see why y'all don't like them. They are so biased, and CNN is just crazy. But I show all types of news here. So thank you to the Trump supporters and Mega. Maybe I can enlighten you guys and fill in the blanks where you stop researching because no. That's a whole nother live to talk about. Literally, he has hands in 15 countries, and all of them is up in the damn air. Stop it. Now, United States seized oil tankers off of the coast of Venezuela. Trump signals escalation in region. Let's see what MS Now has to say just a little bit. And the reason why we do listen to different broadcasts is because we want to compare and contrast what they say and fill in the holes. Because they be lying. You get one part from here, then you get the rest from here. So let's see if we get a little bit more about this boat seizure. But we already know Trump, we're going to keep it. So is this going to be a practice where we're just going to literally just scoop boats up with oil or whatever resources they have and just take it? This what we do? And if you support this, Mega, do you not think that other countries are going to come eventually team up together and kick our ass? I'm just keeping it real. That's just real life. We're one country out of hundreds of countries, and we act like a whole fool. This right here is out of pocket. And that's why we're making these broadcasts too, because we want to let the other people of the other nation know this not us. Look at her looking like a Thundercat. I'm sorry, y'all got distracted. I look back at the scene. Like, look at this Thundercat. No, she looked just like the mama. Okay, let's play this real quick, y'all. I'm sorry. My ADHD kicked in like, what? Why my baby over there looking like a Thundercat? Okay, let's finish watch this. Everybody from wherever you coming from, just a disclaimer, us as Americans, the one who has heart, we look at all of you guys as human, and we don't want war. We actually want our tax money to be, shunted back into our communities, back into our pockets, but it's not happening. So just a disclaimer for everybody that's watching, when y'all come and do whatever y'all do, just hit this house right here in the back real quick. Leave us out of it. Okay, because when we had the government shutdown, she was a little crazy, but we was handling it as people. So I think we can make it. Just don't come just for everybody. I'm just being honest. I don't give a y'all like what she say? Attack the White House? No. Attack the person who's doing that to you. I'm just saying, wherever he at, you go talk to that man. We don't have time for that. Talk to that man. Don't talk to us about that. Let's play this real quick.
Well, the
Save our
oil tanker
lives.
that Donald Trump says the United States has seized off the coast of Venezuela. In the Oval Office, Donald Trump was asked for details about that. And he claimed that it was, quote, seized for a very good reason, end quote.
but wouldn't reveal with that very good reason is or was. As for the oil on the tanker, Donald Trump said this, quote, "Well, we keep it, I guess," end quote.
Wow.
I don't even know what my question is.
Me either, girl. I'm with you.
What happens
She
next?
is like, what is next? I'm blown right with you, beautiful. I call her Thundercat. I like her. Don't matter. But yeah, I'm blown with you. We all like, what's next?
It's either sloppy or incompetent, or it's criminal.
All of
And
the
I think
above.
it's gut check time again for America. And I think there's another important part of this that's happening is Trump is doing what he always does. He's stress testing the entire system. There's only, I think, 6 days left for Congress to be in session. So if they're going to have a War Powers Act vote on Venezuela, that has to happen in the next week. They're going to have a defense bill they have to pass. And he may be ramming Venezuela down their throat. Whether we're going to get questions for someone like Hegseth is also in the mix.
But what's the predicate for seizing the tanker?
Thank you.
I don't know. I mean, I never know what his predicate is. I mean, the thing I said to you a few weeks ago is he wants to attack Venezuela. He's made that clear, and he's building a narrative around it sloppily, inconsistently, badly in a lot of different ways. But the pieces continue to be put in place, and the pedal is to the metal. And I think we have to continue to underscore Congress hasn't authorized it. Most of the country is against it. Most of our allies are against it. But F-18s were miles off the coast of Venezuela, and he could start striking any minute. And the question is, will Congress do anything? Will they stop him? Will they slow him down?
Oh my God. I'm just going to say this. Shout out to Congress. Y'all been trying. The paper ain't stopping Trump. The people around him is still enacting what he's saying. Talking about, will Congress stop it? Congress didn't even know. I can't even blame it. They like, shh, we woke up to this shit. We gonna just say no, and he just gonna do it anyway. We gonna have to lock his ass up. I don't care. I don't care. Trump gonna have to go to jail to stop him. Now, the narrative, we're going to just try to figure out what's going on in Venezuela, too, because something going on down there that we don't know, and I'm not letting them build the narrative. But what I do know is that Nicolas Maduro was elected to be their president. So Maduro was officially declared the winner in 3 consecutive Venezuela president elections since 2013. He was the president elected at 18 and 24. But his victories has been... he says, but his victory has been widely contested by the Venezuela opponents, much of the international community, due to allegation of fraud, lack of transparency, and repression. Now, they didn't say anything about drugs, stealing, all this stuff, but they're saying fraud, lack of transparency, and repression. Don't that sound a little bit like Trump? That's why I'll be like, yo, it is the pot calling the kettle black. Like my man in audience, I know you something wrong. You Jackson 62620, the Democrats left American soldiers for dead in other countries. And your it says minority loser Democrats didn't say shit. Fuck hypocrites. Yeah, they have done this in all presidency. Have had our soldiers out in places that you may not even know, okay? And there has been a lot of our soldiers dying just because they're in the wrong place and not even being trained properly. Like, we're just putting people all over the place. So stop just blaming Democrats, Republican. It's the whole situation. And like I said, I have a family member that's a sergeant major. And, she told me that she had lost a few people on her platoon. Literally, I was like, what happened? Y'all was in war? Like, no. Well, basically, they were riding the tanker truck, and the tanker truck fell off the side of the mountain. I said, what the heck? What? I said, why were y'all, like, how this happened? Well, training and things. A lot of people who are dying out there that's just waiting to things to get set off is in friendly fire, or accidents that happen to with theyself. And I'm being real. I have people who's in the service. I don't know everybody, but I do know a different narrative. So let's stop this Democrat-Republican thing, please, and just look at the actions of consistency of what's been happening. So again, let's just get back to Maduro. He's been elected. So I don't know who don't like him, or if he's rigging the elections or whatever like they do here, but something is happening. And I think some people support him and some don't, because I'm going to show you a lady. She won a Nobel Peace Prize. I think her name is Miss Maria. and she's been a strong opposition of Maduro, and I think it's some type of travel ban that happened, and they're not supposed to be coming to certain places, and she actually came out here, most like, yeah, defied him. Something is going on, so I think she's shut up. She is, especially if she see how out here she's spying against her own place. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Bear with me. I have to take my mic off because my battery is going dead. So I apologize if you hear some shh in the background. We will get it together. All right, so I'm gonna show you a little bit about that lady, because they do have some issues, but I think they're gonna use that lady's story to heighten it and make it seem like all the people hate Maduro and she had to escape to get out. I don't know what's going on here, but it's something being set up, and I think Venezuela has more than just oil. It has to be, because we've been going after Venezuela since Bush administration. So it says factor affecting Democratic credibility out there. What they're saying is basically lack of transparency. This is Venezuela. They say in the 2024 election, electoral authorities did not provide details sanctioned by the state's vote count to verify the results. So allegedly they didn't verify the votes, which is kind of sounding like what we got going on here. Ballot confusion and authorization rules. His leadership has been characterized as increasingly authoritarian. I'm making these faces because it's sounding like Trump, using government control to control the courts, the elected councils, and to validate disputes against other people who are against the government. So they're using the courts to validate their alleged, crimes against the people. Does that sound familiar? So let's just finish off a little bit so y'all can know about Maduro, and y'all do your own research. Despite the month-long election dispute and the credibility issues with the evidence, the opposition to this won in 2024, which was Nicolas Maduro, and he was sworn in for his third 6-year term. Now, this is what I'm saying. They need to change their laws, because he shouldn't be able to come back in for a third term and 6 years. This is literally a system issue, just like we have here. But instead of fixing the issues and making, our system more vamped to how we want it, so these people won't have long terms, they can't come back in and be this person, switch seats, because that's what all happened in politics. And I learned that following the drama that was going on the south side of Chicago with the Democrats. Oh my God, if they wasn't seat hopping and having family come in, and it's just his words. So don't even think that I am a Democrat lover. I literally went through a whole year of fighting an uphill battle against Democrat elected officials in Illinois, the south side. They're crooked as all hell, and they're doing the same thing that Republicans do. But I think that Democrats do it a little bit more messy. Like, it just be a little bit more messy, a little bit more out there. So that's a little bit about Maduro. Okay, let's keep it moving. Thank you for being here with Miss Grace. Please hit the like button. As I said, this broadcast is going to be about an hour and a half or so, because I usually do an hour broadcast, but I really want to hit it today because it's so much. And then he's going to add some more. I'm going to stole a boat. That's not what we was going to talk about this morning. He done stole a whole boat. So I'm like, well, we just going to keep it. Are we low for oil here? What's going on? Okay. So this is Ron Paul joins Dems on war power resolution. So now it looks like they may be trying to come up with something to counteract the actual, you know who gave Trump all these war powers? And everybody thought that I was crazy because I was probably the only black person that said this. That's why they thought I was. I said, what the hell is Obama doing? You look at them, all them executive orders that Obama snuck in, they gave these presidents the war power. That's why people kept saying Obama was going to try to be a dictator and da-da-da-da and blah, 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 blah. This is all. Okay? Because when you watch them in certain meetings together, Trump and Obama was laughing and kikiing with each other. After Trump said all that stuff about his birth and all this stuff, this shit is a joke. So the powers that Trump has, go look at all of the executive orders that Obama put in, literally giving the power to the president to supersede the separation of power, like the Congress and the Senate, to declare war. That's what we was thinking. Like, yo, Obama gonna be a dictator. Not all black people because they wasn't paying attention. I'm just saying I'm a little geeky and different. That's when I was learning about executive orders, and I'm like, what he doing? He about to do stuff for black people? I was soup. I was like, I'm about to learn how to read these executive orders. I'm like, okay, 1, 50, 55, 75, 125 orders, executive. Where the black? Where's the ones for the black people? Yes, I expected something, but it was nothing. That's how I noticed that it was so many crazy executive orders made by Obama for war powers. That's why I'm not right or left. I'm human, and I see the setup. Let's go.
As the White House continues
Oh God,
its campaign against suspected...
I'm about to be aggy with Fox like the Trumpsters. I'm with y'all. I'm gonna let Fox rock out, but they be wilding with their commentary, man.
Venezuelan drug buzz, President Trump delivers another warning to President Nicolas Maduro's regime. He says he has not ruled out the possibility of sending U.S. troops into Venezuela.
Oh my God.
So how far would you go to take Maduro out of office?
I don't want to say that.
But you want to see him out?
His days are numbered.
Somebody said you don't know the constitutional. What I don't know about the constitutional? Tell me what. I love you, though. It was funny. You said you don't know about the constitutional. What do I don't know? What was I lying about Obama? Tell me, y'all. I told you I'll hear everybody's feelings at the end of the day because I just be looking through the matrix like straight like I'm Lucy. Like, look at all these. Look at that. Come on, tell me. Give me, a clear synopsis of what you're talking about, okay? How do I don't know about the Constitution? What am I missing? Let me know.
Oh, an American ground invasion?
I don't want to move in and around. I don't talk about it. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul sits on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and is the chair of the Senate.
Get him, Rand. I like you. Get him.
I know, Senator, that you have concerns about President Trump going to war in Venezuela, or at the very least, mounting some sort of an invasion. Do you think that is in the cards?
I'm kind of old-fashioned. I kind of like to obey this thing called the Constitution.
Thank you.
The Constitution says that war only occurs when it's declared by Congress. The president doesn't have the power to take the country to war. Now, if he does, he wouldn't be the first president.
So what does that mean? You said it says that he is the it says that the officer of the executive branch is the commander and the chief of the arms and navy. Yes, but you can't declare war. That's why we have separation of powers. We all have to come to this collectively. That's fine. He can help head after everybody agrees that we supposed to go on war, but that don't mean he can declare war. That's not what it says. Obama gave them this power. And that's why they're going to be writing different laws and things to try to circumvent this.
But I think we should obey the Constitution. I think it makes war less likely. This would be a war of choice. It would be an offensive war, albeit a war to get rid of people most of us find distasteful.
What's the difference between armed conflict and war? Let me know. I'm going to look it up. But what's the difference, RK? Because it's the same thing. Let me know. Thank you for your contributions today, too. I appreciate you guys for being here with Miss Grace. Please hit the like button. Again, we're working our way through the algorithm because I was fighting the Democrats last year, too, y'all. Talking shit about them every day. They ass went after my IP address and everything. It's war for freedom of speech. Let's get it.
Constitutional for the president to do this alone. So if he thinks he wants war with Venezuela, he should come and ask for permission from Congress.
Thank
the way it was
you.
intended.
There are a lot of presidents in the past who have not come to Congress for permission to go to war. They happened to put together this list, starting with Truman in the Korean War, Johnson in the Vietnam War, Reagan, the Grenada invasion, as well as Libya, President Clinton, the Kosovo War, where we were bombing Syria, Obama, Libya, and ISIS.
To me, all of these people are a disgrace. Sorry, y'all. Don't be mad at me. They just all did something wrong and disgusting some way, somehow. Reagan was all right, but they all did some crazy things throughout their presidency, either towards other country or something that was selfish for the administration against the people. I'm just being honest. And this is across, you see Democrat, Republican, Democrat. Shout out to Fox News for getting it right. and not just choosing one side. You see what I'm saying? Thank you.
President Trump's Syria airstrikes and the Soleimani strike. How could Congress stop the president this time?
I'm reminded of what my mother would tell me when I was a kid. 10 wrongs don't make a right. So the fact that 10 presidents have done it incorrectly doesn't make it right.
Thank you.
Our founding fathers were united to a person. All those who signed, all those who debated over the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, were unanimous that Congress should declare war. No president should on his own. Now, we have disobeyed that.
No.
But we do have the ability. If Congress rose up
I'm sorry, RK. No, it did not. I'm gonna have to look into it more because that's not, I don't see the separation. He don't have a power to have armed conflict. He don't have no power for that. Where's this say that? Man, we are shit's creep with these presidents and what they doing.
Two-thirds majority had said no, we could overturn any veto. Rarely do you get two-thirds vote, so it is very hard to stop a president hell-bent on war. But you know, what I liked most about President Trump was his idea that he didn't believe in regime change war. He was against the Iraq war. He was against the war in Libya. So I hope that his instincts will prevail. I feel that there are people.
He was against the other wars there by these Democrats, but not against the wars for the Republicans. They playing a game. They playing the game.
Him who have ulterior motives and are pushing him towards war, but I hope it won't come to that.
Well, he does seem to be interested in regime change in Venezuela. The president said the other day that Maduro's days are numbered. And a way that he's putting pressure on Maduro is with all of these strikes against these drug boats that are running either through the Caribbean or the Eastern Pacific. Here's what the president said about the possibility of releasing video of the second strike that occurred on September the 2nd. Listen here.
Mr. President, you said you would have no problem with releasing the full video of that strike on September 2nd off the coast of Venezuela. Secretary Hegseth now says...
You said that. I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news.
You said that you would have no problem releasing the full video. Okay, well, Secretary Hegseth...
Whatever Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
He now says it's under review. Are you ordering the secretary to release that full video?
Whatever he decides is okay with me. The president had said earlier, about a week earlier, that he would have no problem with that second video coming out. Do you believe it should be released, Senator?
Yes, without question. I think if people were to see the images of people clinging to the wreckage, there would not be much sympathy for Secretary Hegseth. To order the killing of people who shipwrecked is clearly illegal according to military justice, according to our own military laws. And, you know, I have members of my staff who were high-ranking in the military, and they tell me this is done for the protection of our soldiers. If our pilots have to eject from a plane, we show that we don't shoot people. Okay. We don't shoot pilots that are descending by parachute. If we blow up a boat and there are survivors, we don't shoot those people. We don't sidle up in a boat and take a 9mm pistol out, put it to their head and shoot them. Nobody would do that. But just because the missiles come from a long distance doesn't make it any more right.
Exactly. That's what he's saying. That's just like somebody traveling on the highway and you feel like they got drugs in their stuff and you just let loose. We even feel away because they're targeting us on the highway. Y'all know that they were doing that illegal search and seizure and when they was traveling, stealing people money. So if you had money and they thought that it may be used for illegal means, that we have federal agents taking people money for no reason at all. Y'all know that was happening and it's still happening again now, and they're targeting us as Americans. I think that's a way for us to stop having money, physical cash, and get us on a digital currency and seize our money unlawfully. But that's just like the same aspects. You can't just say, oh, I think they selling drugs. Boom, let's just blow them up. That's just not how it works. That's not how it works on our land or off of it. So let's keep on watching. Shout out to Ryan. I like him. I like Rambo. This is my guy. He's always on the right side of history for me. I'm going to keep it real. I like him. And his dad. I like him. They won my heart, y'all. I'm sorry. They do.
But it's clearly against our laws of war. And even deeper.
Oh, wait. One more thing. Thank you for trying to break down the definition between combat and war. I'm going to look into that so we can talk about that a little bit later, okay? I appreciate it. I'm still going to go with they're not different, but I am going to look into it so I can correct myself. But I don't think that the president has the all-out, power to declare either one of them, because that's not how our system works in America.
And that there is a question of
Are unarmed people that are smugglers part of a war? Are we in the middle of a war with unarmed people? Why don't they present evidence that they're in arms? Why don't they present evidence that these boats are even coming to the United States? These are small motorboats, often 2,000 miles from our shore. If they have drugs, which hasn't been proven, if they have drugs, they're probably taking it to neighboring islands. So this is a crazy...
And remember what I told you, 90% of our drugs coming in through the port of entry. So they have crates and crates of drugs coming in. That little ass, excuse me, sorry. That little boat is not carrying but so much. Most of it is coming in through big crates. That's how when they do these big drug busts, they're finding it in transportation and trucks, coming off boats and all types of stuff. Now, maybe that's after it gets here, but at the end of the day, when I think about the port of entry, again, I'm just gonna have to show that to y'all so it can bring back to life. We have to remember the J.P. Morgan situation where all of this drugs and everything was coming in on the dock. I'm gonna pull that up so we could probably cue it up, because I can't run with these little speedboats being the assailants of us having this big fentanyl problem, highlighting that what's coming in through the water from statistically reading is cocoa is not fentanyl. Fentanyl is coming through our pharmaceutical companies. We have to get a grip on our pharmaceutical companies and our doctors and our pharmacists, plain and simple. And I'm, like I said, I told y'all this as a nurse. They have me trapping out there, just giving, I'm like, man, this is crazy. You don't even need all these drugs, but I can't say now, I'm just quiet. Long as your heart rate, vital signs, everything can hold it, God, please get me through this shit. This man done took the whole 50 cc's of morphine in his pump. And I'm giving him rocks and all pills. Who the real trap stars in America? That's why I left the bedside. I was straight a drug dealer. Come on. I left the hood so I don't become a drug dealer. It's us. Let's finish watch this and then we're going to move on.
Thing that we've never done before, and to make a crime into war is to stretch credulity to the point that I think a lot of common sense people don't buy it.
Well, President Trump seems to be aiming at the supply chain of drugs that come to this country and kill an awful lot of people every year. As you know, Admiral Bradley gave a briefing to members of Congress last week. Here's what the Wall Street Journal said after that briefing. This is the editorial board. Congress is investigating whether the Trump administration fired on defenseless survivors on a drug boat, and the emerging details suggest this story is less than it initially appeared. But the episode still carries lessons about command accountability and larger questions
I'm done.
about the Trump war in the
Hold on,
Caribbean.
y'all. Let's stop. I'm done. He said it's less than it appeared. That's where you be losing me, Fox, because they be throwing stuff in there that, what? You blew a boat up. The people was on the side holding on for dear life, and then you lie and say, oh, they were trying to contact people. They was trying to save the drugs. How the fuck did you saw all of this? Where did you see the drugs? And can we see some pictures of these drugs? That's where Fox just lost me. He's like, because it's littler than what it is. Now, let's get to this. Russia. I'm sorry, y'all. I just got to keep it real. We don't want no problems. We know where we want. If y'all going to do something to the person who did something to y'all. That is to international spectators who need to know how American people feel. Y'all are human. We do not like this. We copping fifth. Okay? Let's go. Warning, Russia. Warning. And you know why I feel a little skeptical about Russia and going into war with Russia? Because we could have equipment and we could have certain things, but they have just as a good amount of, warships, ammunition, guns. But what they do have, and I'm going to keep it real, if y'all realize that, they good at guerrilla warfare. What is guerrilla warfare? I'm talking about boots on the ground. They're the ones that help South Africa kind of get their land back, get more control. They helped a lot of African nations actually fight off France and other countries. That's who helped Africa with guerrilla warfare, combat on the ground. That's why they doing Ukraine dirty out there, because Russia know how to get down. Even Putin, the president, imagine Putin and Trump in a ring together. They both old ass men, but I know Putin's gonna give Trump the work. You know why? Because Because Putin live how he talk. He talking like he walking. And he be doing martial combat and stuff. He'd probably be right in the front of his people. That's why I'm a little skeptical, because we more talk. We more hot air. We're hot air in America. I know, guys. I'm part of America, too. Sometimes I be thinking like, oh, I'm good, da-da-da. Then I go do something. I be like, oh, I can't even handle that. Oh, shit. We don't have no stamina, mentally, physically, financially. We losing it. When I mean mentally, physically, if we get a whole bunch of soldiers touched down on the ground after the executive order that Obama has signed, that basically allow for foreign troops to come in here into America if we're in a state of war, domestic war. You know that Obama did that, and I was like, oh shit, why would he let other soldiers from other countries come in here to get us? Now imagine if they come up in here to get us. What the we gonna do? You ready? Hell no, them Russian people ready. Like he got bunkers for his people and everything. Go look it up. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. We got to get it together, guys. We got to stop fucking talking so hard. Like, we so hard. And we got to get ready for whatever our nation is setting us up for. Because we're going to have to endure some stuff. Maybe not me and your generation, pray to God. Maybe it'll be our kids' generation, but we're leaving this to them. That's why, baby, my son is a second-degree black belt. We're going to have to, baby, let's move on. I'm just telling you. We probably look regular, but we trying over here to be ready. Just like China and Russia.
A new geopolitical flashpoint is opening in Latin America. The Trump administration's national security strategy shifts U.S. focus back to the Western Hemisphere, signaling interventionist pressure on Venezuela, a nation firmly inside Russia's sphere of cooperation.
See?
For Moscow, this is a direct threat to its influence. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova warns Washington is resurrecting the Theodore Roosevelt doctrine, giving itself authority to intervene in Latin countries under the guise of stabilization.
And that's the Monroe Doctrine that we went over a little while ago. And no one was following that. We don't have the right to make a doctrine in America and say, yeah, we just got this law that we'll be able to go to Latin America, any country, and do what we got to do. So everybody, you better fund it. That's our law. That is a law of perpetual war. And that's what they're talking about, the Monroe Doctrine.
Russia specifically calls out the Pentagon's escalating pressure on Venezuela, accusing the U.S. of setting the stage for a conflict to unseat President Nicolás Maduro. Moscow warns the outcome would destabilize the entire Western Hemisphere.
We hope that the White House will manage to refrain from further sliding into a full-scale conflict, which threatens to have unpredictable consequences for the entire Western Hemisphere.
In Caracas, leaders echo Moscow's alarm. They say any U.S. intervention won't just be against Venezuela, but against popular sovereignty worldwide.
Now, mind you, don't forget that Moscow is close to the China border. That's why they had to get together. Beijing had to really get themselves together. Go look at these places that border. I'm telling you, one domino move, they're all going to move, because people are sick of us as Americans. I'm sorry, it's not us, y'all, it's our government. They fucking sick of us. So here you go. Russia like, baby, I got your back. How is this working?
We are grateful to the peoples of the world for the support they have given our country, to our struggle, in our struggle today, in today's battles. What is happening in Venezuela today could happen tomorrow to any other people. During the previous occasions, they have blamed the Venezuelan opposition, describing it as fascist and as an instigator of North American military intervention in the Bolivarian nation.
Venezuela claims Washington is being invited in by a US-backed internal opposition, whose goal is to topple Maduro and overturn the Bolivarian revolution by force, reinforcing Russia's narrative of regime change aggression.
Sadly, everything is linked to and connected with the fascist opposition here in Venezuela, because since they have no votes, no people, they turn to violence as an alternative.
Oh, okay, now it's making sound like the fascist opposition. They basically call them fascists as people, terror, those people. And they say since nobody actually vote for them or like take them seriously, they're moving towards violence. So these are the alleged people who is in opposition. Again, I'm going to do a little bit more detailed research because there's problems with every leader in every country. And as I say, the things I'm hearing about Maduro sounding like him and Trump got a little bit of the same shit going on. But I'm not there. We just got a good VPN trying to figure it out here. Please hit the like button.
So much so that they turn to violence as an alternative, that they call for a military intervention in our country. So much so that they call for a military intervention in our country, despite never having any popular support.
Russia and Venezuela argue the US is not acting alone, but using regional proxies to legitimize an intervention. One example they point to is Panama being floated as a mediator, which Caracas dismisses as a front for US interests.
Oh, so that's why that story about the Panama boat kind of just disappeared a little bit, because they still messing with America. Because I was like, yo, that story about the Panama boat kind of went to the side, but I have it in my live. They could take it away off the internet, but we got it. It's weird, and that's why they're not crying out and being mad. I'm like, damn, they Panama ain't even say shit. You see what I'm saying? Because allegedly they're acting like a proxy or a small man for the big man. We're getting more details into this. Ooh, that's why they didn't say anything. Shout out to Time Now World.
In Panama, there is no government. There, they do whatever the United States says. Whatever clown is there saying that, I don't know with whom. What is he referring to? Mediator in what? In what? That government should mediate with its own people. Here in Venezuela, we are very clear on what we are doing and what is done in this country every day.
Russia says this confrontation is bigger than Venezuela. It's about stopping the US from regaining hegemonic dominance in a region long beyond its control. With Moscow dug in and Trump pushing peace through strength, Venezuela may become the next arena of a US-Russia power showdown.
Wow.
This time on America's doorstep.
Hey, y'all see, shout out to Time New World News for giving us kind of like unbiased news. Like, so we have two outlets to possibly go into full-blown war with Russia. Well, we got three. Russia, and that is the Ukraine-Russia war. That has not met any peace treaty right now. We'll go back and see if anything is making a way. And now we have Russia basically saying, yo, I got your back. Venezuela, nah, you're not about to do that. I'm telling you, Russia and China is trying to come up as the cousins that's going to take down the other cousins. Why I say that? Because if y'all know biblical bloodline, reality is that these people are cousins, okay? Cousins fighting cousins, especially with China, Russia, and all of those areas right there. Yeah, they're kings fighting kings. This is what it is. Now, Trump stunned as Maduro army swells. Venezuela swears in 5,600 soldiers. Now, we just kind of, figuring out what's going on. This was 4 days ago. This is what I wanted to show you yesterday, just a little bit of it. I think I did. But, again, even if they don't have a big army, you have the people there fighting for their rights. And then you have Russia that's about to teach them guerrilla warfare. I ain't scared of Russia, but I know when people fighting hard, they're doing their thing. Yeah, Putin ain't no sucker. I'm just gonna keep it real. He's not like the average presidents out there. He's not. And y'all know that. Let's go.
United, trained, drilled, and moralized. Under no circumstances will we allow the invasion of an empire if the homeland needs us. If the homeland demands our lives, give us the order and we will go out this very instant to defend it. At this current moment, when global imperialism of the world illegally, arbitrarily, deceitfully, falsely, and arrogantly, this oppressive force relentlessly threatens our cherished homeland, our beloved people, the innocent youth, and indeed the very fabric of our society, undermining our fundamental values and future prospects with its unwarranted and aggressive actions. Thousands of eager individuals are now coming forward to actively join the Bolivarian National Armed Forces.
Venezuela is arming for confrontation. As the United States ramps up military pressure on the oil-rich nation, the Venezuelan army has sworn in 5,600 new soldiers in a powerful show of force. The mass induction unfolded at Fuerte Tiuna, the heart of Venezuela's military, in the capital, Caracas, after President Nicolás Maduro ordered an aggressive expansion of recruitment. And the warning from the podium was unmistakable. At no time will we allow an imperialist invasion, declared Colonel Gabriel Alejandro Rendon Vilches.
Miss Butcher, Nate Butcher, I agree. I don't know why Congress almost abandoned their duties. There's a lot of talking here. And I don't know why people are following through doing unlawful things. I don't know. But we going to pray on it. And like I said, if they're going to target anything, they better focus on who they targeting. Because we don't want this. We don't need this. We don't care about Venezuela's oil, things like that. We don't care. We just care about our country and where we're at. I'm just being honest. Like I said, I'm not like America, America, America first, but I'm here on this land. We have to work together to make sure that we strive, plain and simple. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Well, that's why I speak the way I speak. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and I'm going to call it out. But us being on this land, we have to make better decisions because this is our land and we have to live here. And what they're doing is putting us in great, grave danger. So now you see Venezuela like, whatever, I'm just going to get 5,000 more. That's not a big number, but that's showing their allies. That's showing their allies, Russia, that you don't worry, we fighting too. Like, we need, you say you're going to come in, we together. That give Russia, like, all right, we got you. We got you. We'll help you train them. You need guns. What you need? Goodness. Okay. And it don't let my ADHD kick in. It just did. I thought they was going to bust out and start dancing again. Because the last time Maduro was up there, he was like, Dama Nama Chula. Huh. The whole crowd started dancing, even soldiers. I was like, damn. I'm sorry, y'all. I liked it that. It made me laugh. Now, we're going to get to this last part, too, because we're going to just try to dove into what's going on in Venezuela. Oh, wait. This is what I meant to show y'all before they take it off. Did America tell y'all this? This is Times of India. Venezuela F-16 jet shoots down American aircraft after airspace breach. Did y'all know that? Fox ain't telling that shit there. I got a good VPN. This was 5 days ago, and I wanted to talk about it yesterday, but I had to get out of here. Yeah. They lie. They lying. Let's watch this. Watch this. They're fighting back, and they didn't even report this to us. I hope American soldiers didn't die. It says air mission foiled. It says that it shot down, it's a national armed force of Venezuela shot down an aircraft Friday. Bavarian. The Venezuela forces. Sorry, y'all. I'm going to let this music stop. And this going slow so I can read it. The Venezuela forces said that it intercepted an aircraft on Friday in the state. Okay, of Apor. Whoa. Bear with me, y'all. I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit. It says early warning radar system detected an unidentified aircraft entering Venezuela airspace. The aircraft had its transponder turned off and carried on identification codes. Authorities have confirmed there was no flight plans and the aircraft was declared hostile. Target identified as a white, thin engine Cessna 310. Please, guys, bear with me, with a green stripe on the side. It was intercepted by 3 F-16 fighter jets, which forced it to land in Pedro. Do they got our people? Strategically Operational Commander General-in-Chief Domingo Lores confirmed the incident. So who do they have? This is the 28th aircraft intercepted in 2015 as part of the Operational Bolivarian Shield. I'm probably saying that wrong, guys. Bear with me. Let's listen.
Newest flashpoint.
Oh my
And
God.
the showdown between the United States and Venezuela is accelerating
So wait,
faster than
my
anyone
question is, we
expected.
got to follow up on this. If they got these aircrafts to land down, do they have the people? And they saying this is American aircraft. So was it AI driven with no people driving it? Right? I mean, you can't drive a plane. Flying it? We got to look into this because they didn't report this, but this is from Indian News. So I listen to everyone, and I'm not saying it's 100% right, but something is going on. And if they have hostages or people from our country, it's going to escalate.
Newly released footage shows U.S. Marines from the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit storming warfare boats off the USS San Antonio, opening fire on targets floating in the dark water. It's all part of Operation Southcom, a Southcom mission aimed at destroying what Washington claims are Venezuelan narco boats. According to the Pentagon, the U.S. has now carried out 21 strikes since September, killing at least 82 alleged narco-terrorists.
Wow. We got 82 bodies, y'all.
Something very different.
That's a lot. 82 bodies. We don't even know if these people were drug warlords. You can't do that. You just can't pull people over and blow their brains out. That's exactly what we're doing. That's like the cops pulling you over, and not even pulling you over, see you traveling like, oh, you don't belong here because I said so, and just straight blowing up our car. Wow.
Venezuelan officials condemned the attacks as imperialistic, an attempt to force regime change, and possibly even the prelude to an invasion. At a recent rally in Caracas,
I mean, you can do it, but is it legal and ethical? No, it's not, Nigel. It's really not. And it's inhumane. It's against God. That's what I'm just saying to you. I remember here, too, I'm going to have to remind you guys, I'm a Hebrew woman, despite of which I think. I read that Bible, live that Bible. A lot of you guys are not Bible pushers. Y'all Jesus pushers. But y'all don't act like Jesus. This ain't right. This is not how it's supposed to be. I don't give a damn. Even if I had the power to do it and you gave me the power to blow people up, I would use it with such a discretion. Stop it, Mega. Y'all going to be condemned in hell for, not calling you Mega, whoever said that, but Mega is going to be condemned in hell for switching Jesus Christ's word